What is a mortgage? What is SVP? What is LTV? There's lots of jargon that people use in any industry. And I think in the mortgage industry or as a mortgage broker, there's lots of jargon. And quite often people feel uncomfortable asking questions because they figure they should know the answers to these questions. This is one of the reasons why I provide so much content explaining concepts that seem simple and basic to people that understand it, but to everyday home buyers, these terms can be confusing. My name is Anthony Lindsay, and in today's video, I'm going to explain some of the terminology that's used in the mortgage industry. I'll also answer some of the top questions. Make sure you watch all the way through, you like, you subscribe, and leave comments. And if you're a mortgage broker and you see another way of explaining something, I'm happy to take your feedback, happy to take your comments. I love answering people's questions and I love explaining the mortgage process. I've been in finance for over 30 years and it's something that I not only like, I love because I have the unique opportunity to help people find a new home or maybe purchase additional homes to add to their portfolio. My name's Anthony Lindsay. Now, a few things might surprise you, or maybe they won't. But one thing that I know about every property purchase is that everybody has a secret. So the buyer won't disclose everything, the seller won't disclose everything, and the estate agent, solicitor, and the broker are all just trying to do their job to get the best outcome for whoever their customer is. The estate agent works for the seller. So, a common mistake that a lot of home buyers make is that they think that the estate agent works for them. Wrong. The estate agent works for the seller. Their job is to make sure that the seller gets as much for the sale as possible. And that's good and that's noble. But as a buyer, you need someone on your side, and your mortgage broker works for you. Your mortgage broker's goal is to get you the very best mortgage that you can afford based on your circumstances and what you're trying to accomplish. I always tell people the whole process is as fast as the slowest person, but one thing I know for sure, it takes longer than you think. Unless you're buying from auction where there are very strict timelines, the purchase process is usually going to take 4 to 6 months. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail after, but don't think that you're going to go out, find a house in a weekend, make an offer, get it accepted, and be moving in the next month. It doesn't work like that. And for some people, they need that additional time to build up their deposit. But understand that the mortgage process is going to take 4 to 6 months, and it can take even longer if there's a chain involved. Another thing to consider is that it usually ends up costing more than you budget for. I've worked in finance for over 30 years and I've done debt collection, I've done lending, and I've done mortgages. And one of the things that I've noticed is when people are looking to get a loan, they always overestimate their income. So they round up. When people can't afford to pay anymore and they have to fill out forms to reduce their payments, they always underestimate their income or they round down. But the bottom line is if you're purchasing a property, the numbers that you're given are usually going to end up being a little bit more. And that's not intentional. It's just because quite often things take longer or we may run into complexities that we hadn't anticipated. So when you're talking to your solicitor will give you some set costs, but they don't know what issues they'll run into while they're doing the mortgage for you or while they're helping you with the purchase. And so it may cost a little bit more. The home purchase, don't forget there's additional fees and there's additional things and expenses that you'll have to invest in when you get your new home. Everyone has a secret. As I said, the seller will not disclose all of their information. Buyers want to get the very best price, And me as a broker, your solicitor, and your estate agent are always doing their best to make sure that they get you the best outcome. It does take longer than you think. And here are some of the timelines. First, we'll look at a purchase. So if you want to understand how long it takes to purchase a new home, I would give you a guide timeline of 4 to 6 months. And that's from the moment that your full mortgage offer has been issued by the bank. Before that, there's lots of things that need to happen. But from the moment your full mortgage offer is issued from the bank, it's usually going to be about 4 to 6 months. So, what I try to do with my clients is prepare them for the wait, give them other things to do while they're waiting, but make sure that they understand that the process has to be played out in a very specific way. So the solicitor is going to be making sure that the searches are done. They're going to be looking through the deeds. They're going to be making sure that the property that you purchase on paper is sound. They're going to make sure that everything is in place, that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. And that can take a while, particularly if you're dealing with a solicitor who maybe doesn't have the capacity to deal with a lot of clients. So, this is why it's so important that you select the right solicitor. That 4 to 6 weeks will also include some things that are out of your solicitor's hands, such as searches. I've been doing a lot of right to buy mortgages recently, and some councils are super fast, other councils are super slow. So, when it comes to searches and when it comes to the seller's solicitor, a lot of that is out of the hands of your solicitor. So you need to make sure that you keep them up to date with what's going on with you, that you have sufficient updates to understand what's going on with your case. As a rule of thumb, I suggest if you haven't heard anything from your solicitor in about 2 weeks, that you should just touch bases with them. Many firms have a online dashboard that you can go into and you can send and receive messages. It will also give you the progress of your case. But if you've had no progress in about 2 weeks, I would say just reach out to the solicitor. Just make sure that everything is on track. A good law firm will always make sure that you're up to date. You know what you're waiting for, you know what is outstanding, and you know what the next few steps are going to be. Chains can take even longer. So a chain, because this is one of those bits of jargon, a chain is a situation where, let's just say, you are purchasing a property, but the home that you're buying, the person that is selling that home needs to buy another home in order to be able to sell. A chain can go on because you could have multiple people in that chain. This is why a lot of sellers prefer first time buyers that don't have to sell a property in order to purchase, because this can make things a lot smoother. So, one of the problems with a chain is, let's just say you, person A, you're trying to buy from person B. Person B, in order to sell to you, needs to purchase from person C. If any person in that chain has an issue or has a delay, it slows down the whole process. So, as a buyer, make sure that you're asking the question of the estate agent, is there a chain? For some people, that's a good thing, because let's just say you're a little bit short on your deposit and you need a couple more months in order to get that deposit together, then a chain might be good, especially if your savings is in a high interest savings account. Every month that you're waiting, you're gaining interest. I'm not giving tax advice or legal advice. Make sure that you speak to an accountant about the implications of getting interest on your savings. But a chain can be a good thing or a bad thing. But in most cases, people are looking to buy, move into the new property, and start their new life or the new season of their life. So it's important that you consider, is this property that you're looking to purchase in a chain? And if so, what are the implications of that? And how could that impact the length of time that it's going to take for you to buy your new home?